Hello guys, welcome to tutorial 2. In this video, we will learn about chapter 2 and 3 about achieving strategic fit and scope, also supply chain drivers and metrics. And this is the table of contents. For this tutorial, I will just explain briefly on the main point on the chapter because I think Chopra's PowerPoint that have been shared by Pariski is already quite clear, so we can read it by ourselves. Okay, first is achieving strategic fit. Okay, what is strategic fit? Strategic fit requires that both the competitive and supply chain strategies of a company have unaligned goals. So, for example, marketing division is publicizing a company's ability to provide a large variety of products quickly, but the distribution division is targeting the lowest cost means of transportation. The lowest cost of transportation can be obtained by grouping the orders together or using inexpensive but slow modes of transportation. Therefore, this action conflicts with marketing's stated goal of providing variety quickly. So, this is not a strategic fit. It should have the consistency between the customer priorities that the competitive strategy hopes to satisfy and the supply chain capabilities that the supply chain strategy aims to build. And this is the three basic steps to achieving strategic fit. First is understanding the customer and supply chain uncertainty. So firms need to understand the customer needs and the uncertainty these needs impose on supply chain. This needs helps the company to define the desired cost and service requirements, and also helps to identify the extent of the unpredictability that the supply chain must be prepared for. And second is to understanding the supply chain capabilities, which is how does the firm best meet demand in that uncertain environment. So each of the many types of supply chains is designed to perform different tasks, and a company must understand what its supply chain is designed to do well. So, for every strategic choice to increase responsiveness, there are additional costs that lower efficiency. So, there is a trade-off. So, for example, when we want to meet a high service level, it means high responsiveness, which needs like prepare the stock availability or the fast transportation mode, which may add more cost and can lower the efficiency. And third is the achieving strategic fit, which is ensure that all functions maintain consistent strategies that support the competitive strategy. So, if a mismatch exists between what the supply chain and the desired customer needs, the company will either need to restructure the supply chain or alter its competitive strategy. So, the goal is to target high responsiveness for a supply chain facing high implied uncertainty, and target efficiency for a supply chain facing low implied uncertainty. And next is the example. So if I'm not mistaken, it was on the LSCM midterm exam in regular class, which is asked to describe the implementation of strategic fit concept on Walmart. So I'd like to disclaimer first. Maybe this example is not perfect, but I will try. So, before we move on to the steps, we should know the firm's competitive strategy first. So Walmart is aimed to provide the availability of a wide range of products with a decent quality at a low price. Then we move to the step 1, understanding the customers and supply chain uncertainty. So I use the table 2.1 at page 36. The column is the customer needs, which is Walmart's customer needs, and implied demand uncertainty, which is, like Pak Rizky said, is the uncertainty from manufacturer or supplier to retailer or to us as a firm. Okay, so we look at the 6 components here. So first is the range of quantity required from the Walmart customer is not too much, because maybe there's customer who want to buy a few amount of product, or maybe medium to high amount, but maybe not too much. This component cause implied demand uncertainty to decrease. And then the second is variety of product required is high, because maybe there's some customer who want to buy vegetables, milk, chocolate, etc., which is the variety of product, which cause the implied demand uncertainty to increase. And then the lead time is low and required service level is high, because when customer come to Walmart, they expect to the product to already be there. So it caused the implied demand uncertainty to increase. And then the rate of innovation is low, because maybe the Walmart's customer need is not to expecting too much on the innovation from Walmart product. So it caused the implied demand uncertainty to decrease. And then lastly, the number of channels through which product may be acquired is low, because Walmart customer uh, will directly go to Walmart, not to the other channels that Walmart have. They will go directly to the Walmart store. So this cause to implied demand uncertainty to decrease. Next, if we want to figuring it, according to figure 2.2 page 37, so Walmart is around here. So according to the previous attributes and the Walmart position as a major firm, we can say that their implied demand uncertainty is around quite predictable. And then at the second step, understanding the supply chain capabilities, we know that Walmart has its own warehouse, so on the capabilities supply chain, Walmart is focused more on the efficiency by providing the stock in its warehouse at the minimum cost. And then at the third or last step, achieving strategic fit, we can conclude that the competitive and the supply chain strategies is aligned, which is to provide the variety range of products at a low price. And then, as we can see here, Walmart is facing a low implied uncertainty, and their supply chain strategy is focused more on the efficiency. So we can conclude that Walmart is already achieving the strategic fit. And then the chapter 3. So supply chain's performance in terms of responsiveness and efficiency is based on the interaction between the 6 supply chain drivers. ON metrics is the measurement of the performance of each driver and its impact on financial performance. So the first driver is facilities, which is the physical location where product is stored, assembled, or fabricated. Actually, for each driver, there are so many metrics that I think you can read it further on the book, but I will try to give one metric for each driver. So, one of its metric for facilities is capacity, which is maximum amount of units that can be processed. And second is inventory. Inventory is all raw materials, working in process, and finished goods within supply chain. One of its metric is the average inventory. It is the average level of inventory that can be accommodated. And the third driver is transportation, which is to moving inventory from one point to another point in the supply chain. One of its metric is the average incoming shipment size, which measures the average number of units or dollars in each incoming shipment at a facility. And the fourth driver is the information, which is data and analysis concerning facilities, inventory, transportation, cost, prices, and customers throughout the supply chain. One of its metrics is the forecast error, which measures the difference between the forecast and the actual demand. And then the fifth driver is sourcing, who will perform a particular supply chain activity, like who is the supplier, who provide the transportation mode, etc. One of its metric is the supply quality, which measures the quality of product supplied. And the last or the sixth driver is pricing, which is how much a firm will charge for the goods and services that it makes available in the supply chain. One of its metric is the profit margin, which measures profit as a percentage of revenue. Okay, that's it. If you have any question, feel free to ask me on group line or personal chat, and I suggest you to read further on Chopra's book. And thank you for today. See you on the next tutorial.